there, Mr. Holcomb here with another episode of The Math Behind the Modules. Okay, today we're going to be doing Chapter 8.6, Stock Transactions. So there's only a few vocabulary words in this section, and the objectives are to define the basic vocabulary of buying and selling shares of stock. And we're going to compute gains and losses from stock trades. So the first definition is trade, and that means when a stock is bought or sold. I buy a stock, that's a trade. I sell it, that's a trade. A portfolio is a grouping of all the stocks that an investor owns. Round lot is multiple of 100 shares, and those are usually bought or sold in round lots. Stocks are usually bought and sold in round lots. Odd lots are groups of stocks that is less than 100 shares. You do not have to buy 100 shares. You could say to yourself, I'd like to buy some Tesla, but Tesla is trading over $1,000 right now. So I'm not going to buy 100. I'm not going to put over $100,000 into Tesla. So I'll buy one share. That would be an odd lot. All right, gross capital gain. The difference between the selling price and the purchase price of a stock when the shares are sold greater than they were purchased. So you buy a stock at a certain price, sell it higher, that's a gross capital gain. You buy a stock and sell it lower, thinking that it's still going to keep going lower and you're cutting your losses, that'd be a gross capital loss. Okay, example 1 says, several years ago, Marlene purchased stocks for $7,241. Okay. Last week, she sold them for $9,219. What was her gross capital gain? So those are that's the information you need to answer this question. So gross capital gain equals what your sell price is minus your purchase price. So sell price minus purchase price. If that's negative, it's a capital, not a capital gain, it's a loss. So her gross capital gain is going to equal the sell price. She sold the stock for $9,219. Minus the purchase price, and she purchased the stock for $72.41. When you take 9,219 minus 7,241, you get $1,978. Okay, so these are dollar amounts, so I'll put dollars in all these. So her gross capital gain is $1,978. Okay, so now let's take a look at the check your understanding. Oops. Check your understanding says, Brett used money he received as a gift for high school graduation to purchase $4,000 worth of shares. After he graduated from college, he needed money to buy a car. So he sold the stocks for $2,433. What was his capital gain or loss? So capital gain, capital loss, we don't know which it is yet, so I'll put that equals sell price minus purchase. So I'll shorten this, sell minus purchase. So then I'm going to leave this blank because I'm not sure which it is. And I'm going to take the sell price, sold the stocks for $2,433. But he purchased them for $4,000. So that would be a loss. So I'll write capital loss equals, and 2,433 minus 4,000 is $1,567 in the red. Okay, so that was a capital loss of $1,567. Okay, example 2. 5 years ago, Jessica bought 300 shares of cosmetics company stock for $34.87 per share. Yesterday, she sold all of the shares for $41 per share. What was her capital gain? All right, so switch back to pen. I'll use blue this time. So I'm going to write capital. Okay. I'm going to write capital gain equals, and what was capital gain? It's, well, this one's different. She didn't buy, let's see, she bought 300 shares. Yesterday she sold $41 per share. So we want to find out, instead of doing just capital gains, first I got to find out how much she paid on each. Well, there's actually two ways to do this. So I'll do it both. So first I want to find out how much she spent when she bought. So we're going to take the 300 shares. What is going on? She is going to take the 300 shares and multiply by the price she paid for them, which is $34.87. When I multiply that, I have two zeros, so 0, 0, 3 times 7, 21, 3 times 8, 24, plus 2 is 26, 3 times 4 is 12, and 2 is 14, and 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Two decimal places. She spent $10,461 5 years ago on 300 shares. Okay. And then yesterday she sold all of the shares for $41 per share. So now we're going to take $300 times $41 and see how much she sold them for. So 0, 0, 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 3 is 12. And so then we take our price that we sold them for minus the purchase price, and that is our capital gain. So when I do that, I get 9, 3, 8, 1. So her capital gains was $1,839. Now I told you I was going to do this two different ways. So let me do this. I could have just gone like this. $41 minus $34.87. So your sell price minus your purchase price. And when I do that, I get 0, 9, 10, 3, 9 minus 8, 3, 10 minus 4. So she made $6.13 per share. There are 300 shares. So first you could find the profit of one and then multiply by 300. And when I do that, I get 0.09318. And as you can see, two decimal places, these equal each other. So either way you do it, it doesn't matter. I find it easier to find how much you profited on each share and then multiply by how many you bought. But that's up to you. All right, so now we're going on to the check your understanding, and it says Kevin bought 125 shares of stock for $68.24. He sold them 9 months later. Doesn't matter, time does not matter. Let me move that. He sold them for $85.89 per share. What was his capital gain? All right, so we're going to take, so I'm going to do it the easier way here. I'm going to take what he sold them for, which is $85.89, and he purchased them for $68.24. So sell price minus purchase price equals capital gain. 9 minus 4 is 5, 8 minus 2 is 6. I need a 10 here, 7 and 1. So he made $17.65 per share. That's a pretty good deal. So I'm going to take that $17.65 and multiply it by 125. Okay, we all know how to multiply, so how about I just cut to the chase? And when I do that, I'm going to get $2,206.25. And that was his capital gain. All right, so now it says, they extend your understanding. It says 3 years ago, Maxine bought 450 shares of stock for X dollars per share. She sold them last week for Y dollars per share. Express her capital gain algebraically in terms of X and Y. Okay, so Maxine bought 450 shares of stocks for X dollars. Remember, it's what you sold them for, Y, minus what you bought them for, X, and you're going to yeah, if I do it the short way, then that's multiplied by how many there are. The difference multiplied by how many there are. But if I distribute that, the answer could also have been 450 shares of Y minus 450 shares of X. And that's actually where the shortcut comes from, is by factoring out the number of shares from the sell minus purchase. And so either of these two answers is correct for the extend your understanding. Okay, example 3. Randy paid $3,450 for shares of a corporation that manufactures cell phones. He sold them for $6,100. Express his capital gain as a percent. Round to the nearest tenth of a percent. Okay, so this one's a little bit different, but not much. So capital gains equals sale price minus purchase price. Okay, so we're going to take $6,100 minus $3,450. So his capital gains are 6,000 minus 3,450 is $2,650. Okay, so there's his capital gain as a dollar amount, but it says to express his capital gain as a percent. So think of that as a part of a whole, and we set up an equation using percentages. So some percent times the, let's see, purchase price. What percent of the purchase price is the new price is what we're trying to find. So what percent of $3,450 is that $2,650? Think of it that way. So you take this, so you take your, you take your sell price times some value equals your gains. And to solve for X, you're going to divide by 3,450 on both sides. And these cancel, and you get some X percent equals. And when you divide 2,650 by 3,450, let's do that. Hello, clear. 2650 divide 3450 equals 0.7681. Okay, so that as a percent is 76.81, but it says round to the nearest tenth, so it'd be 76.8%. Okay, so he earned 76.8% in capital gains on the investment. Okay, so now let's take a look at the check your understanding. It says Allison bought shares in Citigroup in early 2007 for $55 a share. She later sold them for $35 per share. Express her loss as a percent of the purchase price, round to the nearest percent. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to take capital gains. So this is a loss, by the way. So she paid 35, or she sold them for 35 minus 55, and that's going to equal a loss of $20. Okay, so then we take, now if we look up here, we took the, let me erase that. Let's figure out what happened here. We're going to take X, and we're going to take 3,450, which is what we subtracted. So what percent of 55 is 35? Okay, no, not 35, I'm sorry. What percent of 55 is, what percent of 55 is the difference? So what we got was 20. So I'll put 20 here. Divide both sides by 55. I'm not going to worry about the negative right now. It is a loss. Express her loss as a percent. We're not going to say a negative percent. We're just going to say it's a loss of such and such a percent. So these cancel, and we get X equals 20 divided by 55. and that is 36.36%, rounded to the nearest percent. 0.36 would round down, so the loss was a 36% loss. Okay, example 4. Andy paid W dollars for shares of a corporation that manufactures cell phones. He sold it for Y dollars, sold them for Y dollars. Express his capital gain as a percent of the original purchase price, round to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. Okay, so what we're going to do here is capital gain equals the sell price minus the purchase price. He sold it for Y dollars. He purchased it for W dollars. Express his capital gain as a percent. So his capital gains was this. As a percent, you take what you sold it for minus what you bought it for, divide it by what you bought it for, and then multiply by 100 to get it out of decimal form. Okay. So this is going to be, think of it as X being our percent times W equals Y minus W. So what percent of what we paid it for it is the amount we sold it for minus what we paid, or our profit. So in order to solve this, we divide both sides by W, and we get, I'm sorry, not W. We divide both sides by W. Yes, I put an X down here. We divide both sides by W, those cancel, and we get X equals Y minus W divided by W, but that would be a decimal. And it says here as a percent. So to get it as a percent, we have to multiply by 100 and call it percent. So the answer is Y minus W divided by W times 100. Now it says to check your understanding. Lisa bought $800 worth of stock in a garden equipment corporation. The selling price is X dollars. Express the percent increase of her potential capital gain algebraically. Okay. Percent increase potential capital gain. So what we're going to do is what we just did before. So if we look at this equation right here, we're going to write it as X times W equals Y minus W. So where Y was our selling and X was our purchase. Okay, so I don't want to use X here, I guess. So let me do this a different way. So we want capital gains to equal sell minus purchase. Let's just start with that like we did up here. And she sold for X and she purchased for 800. So it's X minus 800 in this situation. Well, this is right here. Then we divided by 800. So the next step is, this is the capital gains as a dollar value. Then we took that X minus 800. Think of this as Y is now our X, W is now our 800. We're dividing by W, which in this case is 800. Right, our W is 800. But don't forget, we have to multiply that by 100. So it's X minus 800 divided by 800 times 100. And that is a percent increase algebraically. Okay, that brings us to the end of chapter 8.6. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and peace.